No groin, no Krav Maga. Wrong. No MMA, no Krav Maga. If you can't go to any MMA type of gym and just be decent, you are not a Krav Maga fighter also. Let me explain and let's do this right now.
Damn.
My name is Edmund, I'm a Krav Maga expert. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell, just so you don't miss any of our future videos. All our videos are related to Krav Maga, self-defense, martial arts and fighting. And before I explain what I mean by no MMA, no Krav Maga, write in the comments below if you already trained Krav Maga or any other system, and let me know how long you've been training so far.
No groin, no Krav Maga.
What I mean no MMA, no Krav Maga. You know what? When I started Krav Maga, I thought I just found something amazingly simple, because I simplified in my head at the beginning that Krav Maga is about kicking or hitting the groin in any way possible. Yes, it is, but there's a big but. So as most guys would like to think, we always try to think that our groin is very big. The point is, reality is, it's not that big of a target. So I'm sorry to disappoint you anyway, but as a target it's pretty small. And also there's another important thing to remember. So this target is very much moving target, and I don't mean just like moving like this. I mean actually it's a moving target because people move when you are fighting. So it's not that easy to hit the target. Don't get me wrong, on the other hand, it's one of the best targets you can ever hit. If you manage to hit it, awesome for you, and this is definitely Krav Maga. If you have the target in front of you or you have it accessible and you are not hitting that groin, you are not doing Krav. You are playing around, and that's not a good thing in Krav Maga. Another point you have to remember: we are ninjas at defending our groin. I'm talking about guys. You know, you've been, you hit yourself, I don't know, when you're 3 years old, 5 years old, 7, 10, whenever. One day in your life is a bad day. You get to know that the groin hurts. Okay, some of us experiment in harder ways than others, and I wouldn't recommend it, but this is awesome. And since then you have a ninja ability to defend it. So as Kravers, we have to know, everyone going through that process of learning. And because of that, guys are good at defending their groin, despite having zero formal training. Okay, so then, is Krav Maga bullshit? Krav Maga always talks about hitting the groin, no groin, no Krav Maga. Don't, again, get me wrong guys. Groin is an awesome target, but what this real solution is to be a versatile, proper fighter. What I mean by versatile is the closest I can think of versatile fighters are MMA fighters. And in the syllabus of every Krav Maga association or club, if it's a good club, there should be every single element which MMA fighters do. So the real answer is, every Krav Maga fighter has to be a good MMA fighter. Of course, remembering our tactics, our solutions, and our objectives. Our objectives are not to win the fight. Our winning is a different outcome. Our winning doesn't mean getting a medal, getting a trophy or anything like that. Our winning means you are safe and sound at home. For us, avoiding a fight is also a win. Another thing to remember, sometimes you win the battle but you lose the war. What I mean by the war is actually the law is not on your side if you cross the boundaries of self-defense, so keep that in mind. And we'll have much more videos coming on the law and Krav Maga, how it relates, how I see it, and how I would advise to you how to deal with situations to stay on the safe side of the law. It's a very important topic, because if you get confused with the law, meaning if you take it too seriously, then you compromise your safety. If you take it not seriously enough, you again compromise your safety, because you'll probably end up in jail. I have the sweet spot in the middle, and I can explain my tactics to you, but that's in next video. Okay, back to the topic. Guys, what I mean by MMA is mixed martial arts, and Krav Maga by definition is kind of mixed martial arts in a sense. What we've done in Krav Maga, what the founder and Imi did, was he took every best aspect of every striking and grappling and ground type of fighting sport. In the end, he created something which is not a sport. So what we have to remember, we have to be good boxers, we have to be good Muay Thai fighters, kickboxers and wrestlers and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters. But always remember, there's a big spin on that, because if you become a good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter, I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu personally, I don't think it's a good self-defense. Compared to Krav Maga, it's missing a lot. The tactics are not the same. On the other hand, I have huge respect to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I have huge respect to the fighters who train it. Why? Because they understand the positions. They understand what's going on the ground, they understand how to move, which position is what, and that's what you need to do as a Kraver. Why would you become a good Muay Thai fighter? I mean, kicking and also part of boxing in Krav Maga, in Muay Thai, it's awesome. And you have to be good at kicking. You have to know how to do a roundhouse, you have to know how to do a tip kick, we call it stomping kicks, and this is essential. Guys, understand, Krav Maga is not 70s type of self-defense. It's not the old thing when we go with 2 fingers in the eyes and think that the opponent will disappear suddenly and somehow you save yourself like that. No, most of the time, if you're training in a good club, you probably already realized every technique, almost every technique, especially if it's a hard solution technique, not the soft solution, I'll explain that later, but every one of the hard solution techniques, they will involve some type of hit, strike, punch, kick, or anything like that. So what you have to do, you have to know how to hit, because you get out of the position and then you have to strike. Can you strike? Can you hit? Can you kick? Are your kicks good? Can you do it under stress? Can you do it with movement? All very important. Why would you care about boxing when you are a Kraver? First of all, sometimes you're not in a position to kick. Understand that also, because you in a pub, in a bar, anywhere where it's a bit wet, you might not be in the position to even move your legs off the ground. Another thing is your clothing might not allow you to do that, so make sure you are punching well and you train boxing drills in Krav Maga. Okay, imagine this. If I get a good MMA fighter to a Krav Maga school and he wants to train with me, half of my job is done. Do you know why? Because they actually know how to kick, how to punch, what's going on the ground, and what happens when they are in the wrestling position, grappling position. Okay, so why would they even come to Krav Maga? Point is, no MMA guy knows how to actually defend against weapons. That's one thing. They never cover anything like multiple attackers scenarios. They don't know how to deal with 2 attackers. What is the tactical positioning for us in 2 attacker scenarios? Or how about 5 people fighting around you? Most MMA fighters would do one big mistake. They would focus on one attacker and probably totally miss out all the other things going on. If you train Krav Maga, you already know we have moving and scanning, and there's so much more tactics in multiple opponents. Now, I had a situation with one of my friends, really big, good MMA fighter, and once I just presented him with a knife to the throat position, and I asked him what he would do, and to be honest, what he said was very good, very humbling. On the other hand, big respect to him and other fighters. He said basically he said I would probably cry, and he wasn't joking that much. What I liked about this answer and him was he was humble enough to say that. With that attitude, of course, you will learn a lot. Then MMA fighters also, of course, they don't deal with weapons like sticks, bricks, stones, anything like that. That's a very important part of Krav Maga. And the biggest thing which MMA fighters don't do, and their objective is very different to ours. What I mean by that, they want to win, they want to be in the fight. For us, it's the exact opposite. We have to position ourselves to finish the fight very fast and get out of it. If you stay grappling on the ground or fighting on the ground and your idea is that you will keep someone in your guard, it's a bad idea, guys. It's a good game. I love fighting. I'm very much enthusiastic about it and I love it. And you have to still remember why you're fighting. If you're fighting in the gym because you are having fun with your friend, it's a good thing to stay on the ground, understand the positions, enjoy it. If you are fighting for your life with an idiot guy who's drunk, aggressive and got you to the ground, there's very different reason to fight and very different objectives. So your objective is to get up as fast as possible, as soon as possible. None of these arm bars, which are great in sport, none of it is really useful to us. Most of the time you are spending too much time on the ground. What we have to do is try to resort to striking and get up as soon as possible. VIP, third party protection. This is also not covered in sport type of fighting. Again, for Kravers, we have all the tactics, we have all the tools, and this is very important for us. Part of the fact that you are training, part of your motivation, part of your reasons is probably your family, your girlfriend, your kids. So in that case, of course, we have to know how to protect them and what to do to make sure that they are safe. Again, is MMA useless in third-party protection? No. Remember, punching and kicking is useful and important, but then it goes way beyond punching and kicking. And of course, as everyone loves to train that part of Krav Maga, gun defenses and rifle defenses, more military type of style. Of course, this is not sport type of fighting. Again, MMA is lacking that. But this video is not about what Krav Maga covers and what MMA doesn't, but I want to point you more towards MMA. If you are not a good MMA fighter, if you can't go to any MMA type of gym and just be decent, you're not a Krav Maga fighter also. So again, my personal belief, and as an expert in Krav Maga, I think every Kraver should be okay at MMA, minimum okay. And quite often I think once you get the understanding of Krav Maga, you'll become pretty good MMA fighter. at the same time. I'm not talking about getting to the competition level UFC type of style. These guys are smashing and they're awesome, but you need to know what they are doing when you're watching them. If you're just watching a fight, that's a big topic. If you're not understanding what they are doing in between, you're just like someone who looks at food as food. Someone who's more into food or bodybuilding or anything like that will understand this is protein, carbohydrates, fats, and all this type of elements. The same when you're watching UFC, you should be exactly the same. You should know what's going on, which element is what are they doing. They're not fighting. This is not big thing of fighting. This is all the elements playing around. This is so fascinating about UFC, and actually when you are watching a fight, you should not be watching like an average person. I'm telling you, to an average person this is a fight. To you it should be little ingredients in that fight. You should be noticing them. Another reason why MMA is important in Krav Maga is quite often the groin is not even accessible as a target. People might be standing sideways to you, people might be guarding the groin a lot, and then you have to find a way to hit other targets. The groin is not the only target, it's one of the targets. If you want to learn more about Krav Maga, martial arts, self-defense and fighting, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any of the videos, otherwise YouTube won't show you any of my future videos. Thanks for watching, stay safe, keep training, and I'll see you in the next video.